Welcome to this explainer. Okay, picture a massive geopolitical chessboard. The world is constantly watching South Asia, right? Wondering what actually happens if a major conflict erupts between India and Pakistan. Now, our goal today absolutely isn't to predict the future. Instead, we're going to map out the current global power dynamics. We're going to break down this incredibly fascinating web of strategic partnerships that would actively shape and complicate any potential conflict.
So, the real question driving our analysis today is simple but huge. If a conflict erupts, who stands with whom? Look, in today's hyper-connected world, a regional dispute between two neighbors is literally never isolated. The shockwaves travel globally. Let's dive right into the data to see exactly how a localized conflict instantly draws in global superpowers, analyzing how these shifting global alliances impact South Asian conflicts, and comparing these super complex regional power dynamics.
First up, let's look at Pakistan's strategic network, navigating both diplomatic and financial backing.
When we're talking about Pakistan's international support, you've got to start with what's called the Iron Brotherhood. Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. This refers to the really deep historical relationship between Pakistan and China. According to our sources, China doesn't just cut checks for consistent financial aid, they provide absolutely crucial international diplomatic backing, specifically standing right by Pakistan on major geopolitical flashpoints like Kashmir. This foundational alliance is essentially the anchor of Pakistan's global strategy. But it doesn't stop there. This network expands into the broader Middle East in a really fascinating way, where the support is highly diversified. While China provides this massive umbrella of financial and diplomatic cover, other nations specialize in how they back Pakistan. Qatar and Turkey, for instance, step up specifically to offer diplomatic support on the Kashmir issue. Meanwhile, nations like Saudi Arabia and the UAE have historically stepped in to inject direct financial lifelines. So, Pakistan is essentially splitting its diplomatic and financial backing across different global players, creating a very resilient web of regional power dynamics. Now, shifting gears to the other side of the dynamic, India's defense partnerships and how they are building a robust global network. India has essentially built this incredibly formidable multi-layered defense toolkit. And every partner here fulfills a very specific strategic need. Russia serves as their most trusted foundational partner, supplying vital crude oil and heavy defense equipment. Then you have Israel, positioned as a highly specialized partner offering crucial backing and intelligence specifically on the issue of terrorism. And finally, France steps in as a highly strategic defense collaborator, most notably upgrading India's military hardware with advanced Rafale jets. It's a carefully, meticulously curated defense network. But wait, India's network isn't just a bunch of one-on-one bilateral ties. Enter the Quad Group. This is a massive, multilateral security dialogue bringing together India, Australia, Japan, and the United States. Our sources highlight that by teaming up under this specific framework, India has significantly strengthened its strategic grip and influence across the entire Indo-Pacific region. It's a major, game-changing alliance that adds incredible weight to India's overall geopolitical positioning. Which brings us to the ultimate wildcard here, the United States. It's a seriously complex geopolitical balancing act. So the U.S. finds itself in this fascinating and honestly super tricky modern dilemma. On one hand, historically, America has provided immense support to Pakistan. We're talking heavy military aid during the 1971 Indo-Pak War. However, because of Pakistan's growing Iron Brotherhood with rival superpower China, expectations of modern U.S. military backing for Pakistan are, well, highly doubtful. On the flip side, the U.S. has a very strong modern alignment with India right now through the Quad Group, and it's heavily incentivized by massive commercial and trade interests. America is caught right in the middle, having to balance historical loyalties against modern trade and strategy. Finally, let's pull back and look at the big picture, the global balance, moving from a regional dispute to global implications. If there is one massive takeaway from all of this, it's that bilateral conflicts, they are never truly bilateral anymore. If we look at the potential of an India-Pakistan conflict, we aren't just looking at two militaries facing off. We are looking at a spark that immediately tugs on the strings of Chinese financial power, Russian oil reserves, Middle Eastern diplomacy, Israeli intelligence, European aviation, and American trade interests. It is a massive, delicate house of cards. And that leaves us with a pretty heavy, provocative thought. The geopolitical chessboard is fully set with these historical ties, defense pacts, and economic lifelines. But in a scenario packed with this many overlapping wildcards, who do you think stands where when the chips are finally down?
Do these massive alliance networks act as a deterrent that actually prevents war, or do they guarantee that a localized dispute will instantly ignite a global conflict? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this breakdown helped clarify this incredibly complex dynamic for you.